Yeah, hi all. Very good evening to all of you. So thanks for joining. We shall take a few more minutes. In couple of minutes, we are going to be start our session. We'll wait for other students to join, then we can start this. Thank you. Yeah, hi all. Eva, hope my screen is visible and I'm clearly audible. Please confirm once.
Yes, sir. You're audible and the screen is also visible.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, hello all students. Welcome once again to the IBM Hack Challenge 2022, day number 3. So here today we are going to be understand about like how to deploy the deep learning model on IBM Cloud Platform. So in IBM Watson Studio yesterday, we created one service under IBM Cloud Platform, that is IBM Watson Studio. Under that IBM Watson Studio, we create one asset called Jupyter Notebook. Under that Jupyter Notebook, we took one case study yesterday, that is animal species classification using CNN. On that, we upload the data onto the cloud object storage, and with the help of streaming body object, we fetch the data, and then after we perform the certain operations. Today we are going to be deploy that convolution neural network based model which we created yesterday. Today we are going to be deployed on IBM, and for that we also need to be create some services. So now we need to understand. You all need to understand today's agenda. So agenda for day 3 is we are going to be deploy our deep learning model on IBM Cloud. The same case study which we took yesterday, the same case study we are going to be deploy on IBM Cloud Platform, that is like animal species classification. We are gonna deploy onto the IBM platform, and in last we are going to take like Q&A where you can ask or post your queries. So we'll answer all the queries. So I hope you all are ready for like today session. Please give the confirmation once into the chat. Can you please give me the confirmation once into the chat? Hope you all are set for today's session. Fine, guys. Okay, that's fine. So now I'm going to share my screen. So hope my browser screen is visible to all of you. Please confirm once. Like IBM Cloud login page is visible to all of you. Fine. So guys, you all can come please onto this page because we are going to be deploy the model on IBM Cloud. So I'm requesting to all the participants to log in into the IBM Cloud platform. So visit on to cloud.ibm.com/login and give your credential here. I hope you all are in the same page. First, give the confirmation once. Give the confirmation once into the Q&A option. Hope you all are in the same page. Fine, guys. Fine. And if anyone is facing issue in Q&A, we will take all the queries. So don't worry about it. We'll tell you like how to upload the GIF file. So don't worry. It is showing failed to upload. Yeah. Tell you about this thing. So first of all, give your IBM cloud platform. In that, you just need to give your registered email ID and the password to log in into the IBM Cloud platform. Please log into your IBM Cloud platform, guys. So yesterday we created one notebook under IBM Watson Studio service. So I hope you all log in successfully. Please give the confirmation once into the chat. Please give the confirmation once into the chat. Fine, guys. So hope you all are in the same page. Fine. So yesterday we created one service. We go onto the catalog option, search for the Watson Studio service, and then we create one service that is called Watson Studio. And after that, we perform the different operations. We created the CNN model. Now we want to access the Watson Studio which we created yesterday. So how we can access whatever the services we created on IBM Cloud Platform. So here you can see once you log in successfully into the IBM Cloud Platform, in the left hand side top, you have an option that is hamburger menu. If you click onto this, 4 lines are there. If you click onto this hamburger menu, you will get the list of different options. So you are in the dashboard right now. We want to access the services which we created on IBM Cloud Platform. So how we can access? We have an option called resource list. Whatever the services we are creating into IBM Cloud Platform, those services goes on to resource list option. So please click on to resource list, click onto this hamburger menu, then click onto the resource list. Once you click onto the resource list, you will come onto this page. You will come onto this page. So here you can see like we have a resource list which contains name, group, location, product, status, and tags. Here we have like multiple services, multiple resources such as like devices, VPC infrastructure, cluster, containers, satellite, cloud foundry applications, cloud foundry services, services and software, storage, network, function namespace, apps, and many more. So here you can see, you're able to see here like services and software option. If you click onto this drop down option, you will be able to see the service which we created yesterday. That is nothing but a Watson Studio. In your case, it's a unique name. This service we created yesterday. And also we created this cloud object storage. This Watson machine learning service I created. So I will also show you like how to create. But before that, I'm going to delete this service. So don't worry. Just give me a minute. Why I delete it? Because I will show you again how to create the machine learning service and why we are going to create. So very first thing is those who log in successfully into the IBM Cloud Platform, click onto the hamburger menu, click onto the resource list. You will come onto this page where you have option called services and software. So whatever the IBM services you are going to create, that comes under here. Whatever the storage you are going to create, that goes on to storage option. So we created yesterday cloud object storage to store our files and our data sets under that storage. So we are going to launch IBM Watson Studio. So what we need to do is we need to click on to Watson Studio. Please click on to Watson Studio. Once you click on to Watson Studio, you are in this page, launch an IBM Cloud Park for data. So once you are in this Watson Studio page, this resource list, under that resource list, we are going to launch this service. So now click on to launch and you will be redirected onto the another page. You will redirect onto the another page. Once you are in this page, you are able to see here, you will get this pop-up like provision Watson machine learning service. We are going to use that, but not right now. So I close this pop-up. Yesterday, we created a project with animal classification name. So I hope, first of all, give me the confirmation. Hope you all launch IBM Watson Studio dashboard. Give the confirmation once into the Q&A option. Hope you all are in the same page, Watson Studio homepage or Watson Studio dashboard. Please give the confirmation once. Go back. Once you are in the home page of your IBM Cloud after login successfully, click on to this hamburger menu, click on to this resource list. Once you click on resource list, go to your services and software option, click on Watson Studio and launch this. So I hope you all are in the same page. So right now, those who are facing feature code issue and all, we will discuss after completing the deployment of IBM. I will take all the queries which you are facing basically. So don't worry, we'll take it in like last half an hour. Okay. So once you are in this page, we have an option called projects. So here you can see like we have animal classification, animal, like I have created 2 projects yesterday, correct? One I closed and then after I created. So in this particular project, animal classification, either you can access from here itself, or if you have multiple projects, suppose. So how you can access all the projects? Click on to this hamburger menu from IBM Watson Studio. You have a drop down. You have a menu like this. You have a menu like this. Click on to this project menu. Click on view all projects. Once you click on view all project, if suppose if you have like 10 projects, so 10 project list will be there. Now we created yesterday this animal classification project. So please click on to this. Once you click on, so here you can see yesterday we created this file animal CNN, and also we created animal dataset.jpg. This is our dataset file and this is our notebook file. So how we can launch this notebook? Simply click on to the notebook name. Simply click on to the notebook name. Once you click on to the notebook name, you will be in this page. So please give me the confirmation once. How many of you are in the same page now? How many of you are in the same page now? Good. In the notebook, correct. Good. Now here you can see we are in like IBM Watson Studio under projects. In under project, we are having a project name called animal classification. Under that animal classification, we have one notebook called animal CNN. Now I want to edit this. How can I edit? You can see here one pencil icon to edit this notebook. So please click onto this pencil icon to like edit this notebook. Please click on that. So here you can see I'm going to use today 2 virtual CPU with 8 GB RAM, and it consumes 1 capacity unit per hour. So make sure you will not consume all your CUH, 10 CUH for a month. So I hope you all are in the same page now. Hope you all are in the same page. So do those who don't have animal CNN, this file I already shared in the Telegram group. From there you can download and upload that file into the IBM cloud platform, or go onto the IBM Watson Studio, create new project. Instead of creating blank file, you can choose from file option and upload the file. Once you are, so like you have to be watch like yesterday recording, so don't worry about that. Saurabh. So hope you all are in the same page. Give the confirmation once. Hope you all are in the same page, guys. Yes. What about others? What about others? Fine. Can you please repeat fast? Yes. Go to, once you log in into IBM platform, click on to the left hand side hamburger menu. Then you will get an option called second option, resource list. Under that resource list, go on to services and software option. You created IBM Watson Studio service yesterday. Click on that Watson Studio service. Once you click, you will redirect onto the page of where you will get one blue button to launch the cloud park for data. Once you click on that, you will be redirect onto IBM Watson Studio dashboard, where you will get one pop-up. Please close that. Click on your project name. Once you click on your project name, you will be enter onto the asset section. Under that asset section, whatever your file name, suppose I given the file name as animal-cn, you give another name, suppose. So click on that file. Then after, you will be getting multiple options in the top. So click onto the pencil icon to edit the notebook. Already shared onto the Telegram group. Once again, I will share if you want. Once again, I'm just sharing that file. Please upload that file. Just give me a minute. Hope you all received the file into the Telegram group. Those who are in the Telegram group, they received this file in the hack challenge group. Hope you all received. I'm also pinned that message, so you will get the notification. Hope you all received the file into the Telegram group. Check once. Not link, actually. Please share the Telegram link. Give me a minute. I'm also sharing the Telegram link. Just in chat, I shared the Telegram link. So please join. Request mentor also, if student wants the Telegram link, so please share the Telegram group link. Hope you all receive. Please join the Telegram group immediately. Hope you all received the file. Please click onto the pin message so you will be able to access that file. Give the confirmation once into the Q&A so we can proceed then after. Share the link into the chat. Can you just say how to come onto this page? I will tell you like the steps. So once you are in the home page, suppose, please watch this thing. It's very important. I shared you the file into the Telegram group. The same file you need to be load here. Firstly, what you need to do is, once you log in successfully in IBM Cloud, click onto this hamburger menu, then go to the resource list, click onto resource list. Once you click onto the resource list, guys, you will be having your IBM Watson Studio service. Click on that. Once you click onto Watson Studio service, you will get this blue button where like launch an IBM Cloud Park for data. Click on this. Once you click on this, you will be redirected onto this page. This is nothing but an IBM Watson Studio homepage. Close this pop-up. Then after, whatever the project you created, click on that project name. Click on that project name. Once you click on that project name, you will be redirected onto this page. Now, I already have this file because I created yesterday, but you don't have. So what you need to do is, in this case, whatever the file I shared on the hack challenge group in Telegram, click on to new asset now, guys. Once you click on to the new asset, you have an option called code editor. Click on new asset, click on code editor, then you will get an option called Jupyter Notebook editor. Click on that Jupyter Notebook. Yesterday we created blank file and we select the runtime as 2 virtual CPU, 8 GB RAM and Python 3.9 by default, the language. Today I shared one file with you. So go to from file option. You have an option called drag and drop. Click on that. Once you click on that, select that particular file. Select that file. So once you select that file, you will get here option animal cnn.ipynb. Once you click on create, that file will be open. So in my case, I already have that file because I created yesterday. So hope you understand how to upload the existing file, existing notebook file. Please give the confirmation once into the Q&A. Fine, guys. So after that, please click on create. In my case, I already have. So what I need to do is I just need to simply click on to animal CNN. Once I click on that, click on to this pencil icon. Once I click on pencil icon, so I will be able to edit that file. So my file is going to be edit now. Now the file is in the edit mode. So yesterday we checked like the present working directory, then we load the data set. Now in your case, what happened? What you need to do is when you will like upload the file, those who are like loading that file which I shared on the Telegram group, you all need to be click on to like this 0100 option. Here you need to load the dataset, drag and drop, select that animal dataset.zip file. Once it loaded successfully, what you need to do is you need to select this. You have an option called cross option is cut that cell. Now what you need to do after PW, add one more cell. Once you load your data successfully, click onto this menu, click onto this drop down button, streaming of body object. Once you right click on that, so this part will be added. In this case, you need to change this variable because in the code like we use like streaming body 1. So either you can just write streaming body 2 or otherwise you can just create change the name as streaming body 1. Run this. Once you run this, after that load the data set which we done yesterday on, which we already done yesterday. So here you can see my data set is loaded successfully. So give me the confirmation once into the Q&A. How many of you load the data set successfully and change it? Give the confirmation once into the chat, guys. Yes, please give the confirmation once into the chat. Okay. Now, once you load the data set, then after we are going to we already discussed about it. We extract the file yesterday. Then after we perform the image augmentation, with the help of image data generator library. After that, in that image data generator library, we already perform like different parameters, which I already explained yesterday. So if those who not attend the session, they can watch the recordings, so you will get more clarity. Then in test data gen also we apply the image data generator. Then again I check like present working directory. Then I check with ls list of the folder, so only one folder is there with data set. Then I check with like change the directory, enter onto this data set of folder. Then again check the list of the folder. So two folders are present in that. That is testing and training. After that, I just check whether my file like contains how many number of images. So total 1238 images are there, which belongs to 4 different categories such as bear, crows, rat, and elephant. In the same way, we also read the data for X test, which means testing data. After that, I show you you like how to calculate the length, because in one batch we defined here close it. Batch size is 24. So in one batch, 24 images will go at once for training at the time of training. So total number of images will divided by 24 because of the batch size. So this is the count, that why we are getting the round figure as 14 in this case. For X training data, 1238 divided by 24 is somewhat around like 51 and 52. Okay. Once after this, we check like how many number of classes we have with the help of xtrain dot class underscore indices, which we discussed yesterday. So these are the 4 classes we have. Then we created a pipeline for convolution neural network with the help of firstly import the necessary libraries from tensorflow.keras. So we load one library for model and 4 different library for inserting the layers into the convolution neural network. So we run this. After that, we initialize our model. Once we initialize our model with the help of sequential API, then we need to add convolution layer. In that, we add like filter along with the kernel size, which means feature detector. Then input shape we define as like 64 cross 64. That is nothing but and height and width of the image. 3 is representing as an red, green, and blue, which means that colored picture. We apply the activation function as ReLU to convert all the negative pixel or a feature map matrix value converted into the positive one. Then we define max pooling layer with the help of 2 cross 2 window to identifying the maximum number of pixel. So max pooling we applied. Once after we are getting the output of max pooling, that will become an input for flattening layer. In flattening layer, whatever the dimension, suppose yesterday we take one example, 6 cross 6 converted into 4 cross 4, and then after it goes converted into 3 cross 3. So dimension got decreased in each and every step. After that, it goes on to the flattening layer. So in flattening layer, multi-dimension will be converted into a single dimension vector where we will get the input for fully connected layer. So in fully connected layer, we have input. After running this flattening file, now we are getting converted into input. These two dense basically representing these two are basically for hidden layers, 2 hidden layers with 300 and 150 neurons. 2 hidden layers we added. In that, if you want to decide how we can decide these neurons or a nodes. So for that, there is 2 approach. One is like manually you can decide. Second one is like you can use grid randomizer or CV. With the help of that, you can identify like how many number of neurons and also decide how many number of hidden layers you can add. Then after, here we decide like 4 why. Can anyone please tell me why we written here as 4? Yes, please. Why we written 4 here in the last dense layer basically? Can anyone please tell? Yes, please. 4 classes we have, correct? Number of output classes as 4 we have. What are those classes? Deer, crows, rats, and elephant. So that is why we added here as 4, and activation function is softmax. Why we are not writing ReLU? Because softmax is basically used for multi-class classification. If suppose guys, we have only 2 outcomes. So what we need to use, which activation function we are going to use? Which activation function we are going to use, guys? Sigmoid. Yes or no? Correct, I use. Sigmoid function we're gonna use if we have binary classes. Now we have multi-class classification, so we are going to use activation function as softmax. So run this. After that, we compile that result. So we calculated the loss as categorical cross entropy because we have a categorized data. optimizer as Adam. Why? Because we need to reduce the loss, reduce the errors, or minimize the errors of the data. If suppose, for an example, in actual, student get percentage according to the previous data, that is 85%, suppose. Okay. Now when you build a model and that model is predicting based on the historical data, the student is very good in their academics. The model is predicting like in next class they will get, or in next examination they will get like 50 or 51% in the next exam. So is that model is good? Yes, please. Is that model is good? Yes, please. No. So what we need to do in this case? We need to optimize the result or not? We need to optimize the result. So in neural network, how we can do that? We generally follow the feed forward network from left to right. But if we are getting such a type of errors in our model, what we have to do then? We have to optimize the weights. We have to optimize the weight with the help of back propagation. So back propagation gonna apply. We use here optimizer as an atom, which means that gradient descent concept come into the picture, and with the help of that we are going to reduce the error or minimize the error, so we will get the better result. Once you are getting your optimized weight, and next time you perform the same operation of that particular record of a student, now the model is predicting he will get, he or she will get 82 or 83% or 87 and 88%. Got my point? So which model is good? Optimized model, or directly we can feed the data into our like fully connected layer to predict the outcome? Yes, guys, please give the confirmation once. Please give the confirmation once. Yes, it is optimized one, correct? With the help of optimizer, we are going to minimize the error in our neural network. After that, we are going to calculate the accuracy. So we're gonna use the matrix as accuracy. Then after, we fit and generate the data. So we apply, like we give the X train data value, steps per epoch. So we calculate the length of X train data. So in one batch, how many number of images will go? So 24 batch size we have, 52 images in one batch. So total number of images, how many we have? 1238 images we have, correct? Can you repeat? Yeah, back propagation is basically, in general, it is a feed forward network from left to right, which means that once the input is here, suppose for an example, in this direction, the model is flow. We have inputs. These are inputs. These are inputs, guys. These all input goes on to multiple hidden layers. Suppose we have two hidden layers, one hidden layer, two hidden layers. Okay. After those hidden layer, what we have? We have a summation. We have a summation of input associated with the weight. So we have like input one. I will show you just a minute. Oh, whiteboard is visible. Can you guys please give the confirmation once? Whiteboard is visible to all of you? Okay. So suppose we have inputs. I'm just taking the symbol so that will be. Just a minute. Yeah. So we have suppose input 1. This is the flattening layer, correct? Okay. This is like flattening layer. So whatever the input we are getting, that goes on to where? Hidden layers. We have hidden layers. Okay. Suppose we have one hidden layer. And then after we have another hidden layer. What happened in this case? What happened in this case, guys? It's connected into this hidden layer. All the data was connected into this hidden layer, correct? Under that hidden layer also multiple things. Then this hidden layer goes on to this next hidden layer. After that next hidden layer, we have what? We have a summation. We have this is summation that goes on to this activation function, and activation function will give this to output layer. So in this summation, what happened? In this summation, we have input 1, I1 and W1. I1 and W1. What is I1? This is I1. This is I2, which means input 2, input 3. Or suppose input N. What are these lines representing? These lines representing the weight and associated with the biases. So here you can see input 1 to input N. Input 1 to like input 1 and weight 1 up to input and W1, Wn, which means that whatever number of inputs we have and multiplication associated with the weight and the input, it's gonna sum, and that sum goes on to the activation function. Activation function, as we have like softmax, relu and all. So suppose softmax, it goes on to this, and based on that, this activation function will give the output in this output layer, correct? This is our output layer. This is nothing but output. This is the output layer. This is the activation function. So I'm just writing like activation function. Here we have summation. We have these hidden layers. Now suppose this is the feed forward network. Feed forward network means this direction, then goes on to this direction. Then from here it goes on to a summation, from summation to activation function, and activation function to output layer. But in this case, we are not getting correct out. So what happened? It follows what we need to update in this case. What we need to update in this case, guys? Can anyone please tell me? If we follow the feed forward network, we are not getting the correct out. So what we need to do? I told now what we need to do, guys. We need to perform back propagation. Why we are performing back propagation? To optimize the weights. Which weights I'm talking about? These weights. Sorry. Which weight I'm talking about? These weights. So these needs to be updated. These weights needs to be updated. If we are getting OW, I'm just writing here. OW. OW is representing what? Optimized weight. Once we are getting optimized weight, all are optimized weight. It goes on to the hidden layer once again, second hidden layer, then summation perform, input and multiply with the optimized weight, and also sum of all the different inputs we have. That goes on to the activation function. One activation function will active. That will send the desired output into the output layer. So here we will get the final output. So how this will perform? This perform in this way. Again, it will goes onto this optimized weight, and it goes on to update these weights. And then after again, like feed forward network will follow, and we will get the final outcome here. So I hope it's clear for all now. I hope it's clear for all now. Clear or not? Clear or not? Back propagation is basically like when we are working, when we need to be optimize the data. So in that case, we need to be use the gradient descent. So gradient descent is basically used for optimizing the result. So in this case, we are going to use back propagation and gradient descent to optimize. So we written the optimizer as Adam. So that optimizer will help us to update all these things. So that is why we given the, just a minute, I'm just sharing the cloud platform. Yeah, here we written optimizer as Adam. So with the help of this, we are going to be optimize our result. Now after that, we need to be fit and generate the model. So yesterday also we did this same thing. So till now, hope it's clear for all. Yes, correct. Clear or not? Gradient descent is nothing but it's an iterative optimization algorithm that is basically used for local minima, or you can say that global minima, which means that if it initially started where it reached the local minima is nothing but the minimum loss. Minimum loss when we reach, it means that our model will give the better results. So its importance is very like its importance is very much. Why? Because it will help to navigate the loss function directly to find its minimum, and with the help of that we will be able to get the better results. It is having like different types like stochastic gradient descent, batch gradient descent, so mini batch gradient descent. These are the different type of gradient descents are. Gradient descent basically help because the smaller learning rate, the longer gradient descent converges basically. So it's very important to tune like the learning rate itself in this case. Loss is indicated here, which means that initially we are getting that much loss, which means that our result is not getting good. If we are having a loss of like 1.6585 and accuracy is this, so you will get better results if you give any image. Suppose if you give like image of elephant, but always you are getting an output as crow. Is this the good model? Is that the good model, guys? If you give elephant image and you are always getting an output as crow, so it means that your loss function is high and accuracy is lower. So it's important that when we are working with neural network, we need to check our loss is low and accuracy is high. So here, hope you it's clear till now. So here you can see we are getting, here you can see the loss is minimized and we are getting the outcome as this. So I just need to save the model like this. Yesterday we did these steps. We test the model here. Now the important step we need to understand is, so till there, this point we checked like our model is created successfully. Now we are going to deploy the model on IBM Cloud Platform. We are going to deploy the model on IBM Cloud Platform. So what sort of steps we need to be follow to deploy the model on IBM Cloud Platform? So till now it's clear for all. Yes, it's an optimizer. Adam is an optimizer. Fine, guys. So till now, I hope it's clear for all. So now we are going to be deploy the model on IBM Cloud Platform. So it's very important while we are deploying models with Watson in Watson Studio, we need to create one service that is called Watson Machine Learning. So using IBM Watson Machine Learning, we can deploy the models, scripts and function. Those manage the deployment and prepare your assets to put into the production level to generate the predictions and insights from your data. So it is very important. Like yesterday we discussed. Firstly, we set our project goals. So what we exactly want to find out. So we want to classify the different animal species. That is our project goal. Then after we prepare the data, we collect the data, we have that data like under containing like 4 different categories in that like training folder, testing folder. Under those folders, we have like 4 different folder, bear, crows, elephant and rats. Under that folder, we have multiple images, 300 images are there. Then that repository we created and like stored it into zip format. After that, we decide the tool. We have like multiple tools in the market. You can use Jupyter Notebook, local system itself. You can also use like PyCharm, IntelliJ, different sort of tools are there. You can use. There is Google Colab and IBM Watson Studio, which we are doing right now. So we select the tool. So tool is also important. So you need to pick the tool that matches your data and the desired outcome. After that, we train the model, which we already done yesterday. So we train the model with the data which we supplied. So we supply which data? Animal species data. Then after we build a model with the help of IBM Watson Studio Jupyter Notebook tool. And also we perform the optimizers. With the help of that, we are getting good results. Now the last step is to deploy the model on cloud platform. So we need to be available our model in the production, or we can also retrain that model. So we need to log in into the IBM Watson Studio, retrain the model here and again deploy it. So what we need to do is we need to create IBM Watson machine learning. So I'm requesting everyone to write down here IBM deployment days. IBM deployment, I'm giving the heading here just for your understanding purpose. So here you can see we are going to deploy the model on IBM. So very first thing is IBM Watson machine learning. So we need to create one service that is nothing but a Watson machine learning service. Watson machine learning service is on IBM cloud with the features for training and deploying the machine learning model as well as neural network models. So we are having convolution neural network right now. We can build on the scalable open source platform with the components called like Docker, Kubernetes. Watson machine learning basically enables you to build the model, train the model, deploy the model, and also manage machine learning and deep learning models. So here, what you need to do is, first of all, exclamation sign with it, pip, just write pip install Watson hyphen machine hyphen learning hyphen client. Just need to write and install this library. Please install this library. Hope you all install the Watson machine learning client. Once you install successfully, you will get this message: successfully install machine learning client and the version of that package. So I hope you all understand till now. Please give the confirmation once into the chat. Also understand like why like IBM Watson machine learning we install here. What is the purpose of that? Now we are going to be deploy the model. So for that, we need to authenticate the user. We need to authenticate the user. Please show the code snippet again. Just write exclamation pip, then space install, then space Watson hyphen machine hyphen learning hyphen client. Yes, it's already visible. I think it's already visible for all of you, correct? Screen is visible now. Pip install Watson hyphen machine hyphen learning and hyphen client. After that, now what we are going to do is now here we need to write like from IBM underscore Watson. Just need to write IBM underscore Watson underscore machine underscore learning. We need to import the API client. Import API client, guys. API client is basically used to authenticate the user of IBM Cloud Platform. So here we need to authenticate the user. So I'm just creating one dictionary. Under that, I'm creating one variable WML underscore credentials, that is equals to, and in this dictionary, we need to add the URL. So yesterday I told one thing regarding the reason. When we select the region as Dallas, I hope you know about it. Yesterday I told you about the region, like Dallas region, Sydney region, a lot of different regions are there, Frankfurt region, Washington region. Yes or no, guys? Yesterday, when you create the service, you select the region. Please focus here. In last, I will take all the queries. Don't worry about that. Yes. So region URL you need to be provided because we are going to authenticate the user, guys. So if you visit onto this page, or like regions, basically we have South region, East region, UK South region, EU Central, European Central region, Tokyo region, Sydney region. Correct? In that, Dallas region comes on South region, US South. US South is the Dallas region, guys. So what we need to do is, I'm just copy this, or I will write down so you will get more clarity. When I paste it here, US dot US hyphen South, here we need to write the function. So what is our function is machine learning library. So https :/US hyphen South dot ml dot cloud dot IBM dot. So this is the URL. This is the URL. Why? If you go onto the resource list, guys, and check what region we are having, Dallas region, and Dallas comes into South region, guys. South zone, basically South region. So https :/US hyphen South dot ml dot cloud dot IBM dot com. After that, we want to authenticate the user. So we also need to be provide the API. Here we need to define the API key, guys. So in API key, from where we can get the access to authenticate the user? In the new tab, go to the new tab, just write cloud.ibm.com, hit enter. You will be redirected onto the dashboard page. You will be redirected to the dashboard page. So how many of you are following me? Please give the confirmation once into the Q&A option. Okay, that's really nice. Good. After this, we are going to create an identity access management to identifying, or you can say that authenticate the user. So how we can do that? You have an option in the toolbar in the navigation menu here. You can see in the header we have like option called manage, and we have like one drop down. Click onto this manage. You will get an option called access IAM. What access IAM? It is like identity access management to authenticate the user. So click on to manage, click on to manage, then after click on to access IAM, guys. Click on to access IAM, then after. Once you enter onto this page, you have an option called API key, guys. Click on to API key. How many of you are in the API key option, guys? Please give the confirmation. Please give the confirmation. In API key page. Okay, that's really good. In API key, here you get an option. I already created two API key, but in your case it's blank. In my case, two API key is already there. So now we are going to create an API key. So here you have an blue button, create an IBM Cloud API key. Please click on this. Please click on create an IBM Cloud API key. Give the name, whatever name you want to give. So I'm just giving the name as animal here because animal species classification we are doing right now. So I'm just giving animal. Click on create. You can download this API key if you want to use it into the future. That will be downloading. Click on to download and you will be downloading the JSON format. Keep it into your future purpose and click on copy to copy the API key. Click on copy. Go back to your notebook, guys. In API key option, paste it. In API key option, please paste it. After that, run this particular cell to authenticate the user. So this is like stored it into WML credentials. This is my URL. This is the API key. Now I want to validate it. Now I want to validate it. It is basically used to authenticate the particular user, that those who are going to use IBM Watson machine learning service. API key is nothing but like it's an application programming interface that is basically a unique identifier to authenticate any user, basically as a developer or a programming or we can say that to authenticate any project in IBM Cloud Platform, we are going to be deploy our model onto IBM using IBM Watson machine learning service. So we need to authenticate the user. So how we can authenticate the user? With the help of API. And also it will check whether that particular service is created into the same region or not. If your region is different and you are giving this US South URL, you will get an error while you are authenticating. Got my point? Because we need to be validate this API key which are present under this IBM Cloud Platform. That is why we import the library from IBM Watson Machine Learning, which we installed here. From there only we are importing the API client. Got it? Now I'm just creating one variable that is called client is equals to, we are now going to validate API client, guys. In API client, I need to pass this variable which store URL and API. So client is equals to API client, and we need to be pasted here WML credentials. After this, if you want to check, that is like creating This is how like we are getting API client WML credential, guys. So hope if it is created successfully, so one ID will assign to them. So client, if you write, so here you can see in IBM Watson machine learning dot client dot API client at this particular storage. It means that it's validated successfully. It's validate successfully, guys. Hope it's clear. Hope it's clear. Now, after this, I need to create a deployment space. I need to create a deployment space. So in deployment space, what I need to do, guys? For deployment space purpose, I need to go back into the resource list. I created that service called services and software. I just need to click onto the Watson Studio service once again. Once I click on that, I need to launch the service. Click on open in new tab and enter onto the IBM Watson Studio, which you already know how to come back onto the IBM Watson Studio dashboard. After coming onto IBM Watson Studio dashboard, now what we need to do is we need to create a deployment space. Deployment space, which means that we are going to be deploy our deep learning convolution neural network model onto the cloud platform. So how we can do that? Click onto hamburger menu. Then you get an option called deployments, guys. Click on deployments, guys. Once you click on deployments, once you click on that, you will not get any space in your case. In my case, it's already one space. In your case, there is no space. So once you click onto this deployment space, guys, you will be enter onto this page. In the right hand side top, you get one button with blue button, that is new deployment space. Click on that. Once you click on new deployment space button, you will be onto this page. So how many of you are in the same page? Deployment space page, guys. Can you please tell me how many of you are in the same page? Client output means that it created a, it validate that WML credential at that particular location. At that address is present. Now that address is basically nothing but to authenticate the API. Okay, in deployment phase. Go to your Watson Studio, click onto this hamburger menu, then after click onto this deployment, and you will be enter onto this page, like previous page basically. After that, here in the deployment space, give the name. So I am going to give the name as animal underscore deploy, just for the understanding purpose. Animal underscore deploy. Now we are going to deploy our model. So we need to save the data also. Whatever we are going to deploy on IBM cloud, we need to store it. So those who already created a cloud object storage, automatically it's detect that cloud object storage, that is nothing but a default storage for those services. After that, if you want to give description, you can give it. You want to also give like tags for it. Here we have an option, no machine learning service found for your account. Create a new before proceeding. Why we need to create a machine learning service? Because we are going to deploy and managing the model with the help of Watson machine learning service. So Watson machine learning is basically supports the framework such as like TensorFlow, PyTorch, scikit-learn to build and deploy the models. And to build and train a model, we have to be create this service. So please click onto this create button. Once you click onto this create button, you will be on this page. Once you click onto the create button, you will be enter onto this page. So IBM Watson machine learning service we are going to use, that is used for the predictive capabilities, and also with the help of that we can create a REST APIs that you can call for any language to develop the applications, to take the smarter decisions. And with the help of this library, we have machine learning frameworks different, as I told, like Keras, Caffe, TensorFlow, PyTorch, and many others. And it will help to validate the Python client, to manage the artifacts and deploy the model onto the platform. So by default, it select a region as Dallas. I request you to select the Dallas region. Light plan we have to select, and no need to change anything. If you scroll down, you don't need to change anything. Make sure you check region as Dallas, plan is light, service name, like by default, it will give the unique name, and resource group is default. Click on to create, guys. Click on to create. So it will help. Once you click on to create, it will create a Watson machine learning service. Once it's created, just copy this. You need to refresh this page. Once it's created, please refresh the page. Once you refresh the page, give the deployment space name first. It is validating. If your deployment space is already created with this name, you will not be able to create. So here, like animal underscore deploy, cloud object storage service is like default storage service. Then select a machine learning service. Once after you create successfully and refresh the page, now you have an option called drop down option. So you can select this Watson machine learning service. Once you select this, click on create button. So it will create a space for you. And in this space, we are going to be deploy our deep learning model. So take some time. I hope you all understand till now. If you have any queries, please let me know. Till now, it's clear for all. What about others? Clear. Okay. Good, guys. Now, after refreshing the page, you need to give the name once again, and then after select from the drop down as whatever the machine learning service you created. After click on create, it will take some time. When the space is ready, you will get this pop-up and you can enter onto this space. When I click on to view new space, I will be enter onto this space. This is nothing but animal underscore deploy. It does not contain any asset right now. Once we deploy the model, we will be able to see. From manage, if you go on to the manage, you will get more information related with your space detail, space GUID, that is unique ID, which service is associated, what's on machine learning service, cloud object storage. Here you can see 0 whites we are using right. 0 whites we are using right now. Now we are going to deploy them. So this is my animal underscore deploy is my deployment space. Go back to your notebook. Now here, what we need to do, guys? We need to create a function. So unique identity, UID underscore space name, that is deployment space name I'm just giving. Here, you just need to write the client. You need to pass client basically. This client we are passing right now to validate. Into this particular account, only this deployment space is created or not. So this is how it will validate. So client we are passing here, and animal underscore deploy is my deployment space. So deploy name, colon, enter. Now we need to give the space. So space is equals to, we are going to check the client space detail. So I'm just writing like client dot spaces, which means deployment spaces, dot get details, to fetch the details, After that, after that, we need to return this function. I'm just return next. In that item is the variable basically. So I'm just writing like for item in space, in which this is space. Whatever the item which fetches, that one has stored it into this space variable, guys. Client dot spaces dot get details. In that, we are going to return the function item for item in space, for item in space, whatever the item we are getting, from where? Resources. We have resources. From resources, if we need to validate this, if the item entity, or the name is equals to animal underscore deploy, which we are talking about, this one, this I'm talking about. If entity and the name is animal underscore deploy, then what happened? So we need to fetch the metadata ID. So when I run this function, now I need to validate whether this space is present or not. If it is not present, we will get an error. If this space is not present, so we will get an error. So how we can validate this step, like space? I'm just writing space underscore UID, unique identity ID. So what is the ID of space UID? Our space UID, it is started from BFC, correct? Now we are going to validate it. Space UID, that is equals to UID underscore space underscore name function I am calling here. I'm just writing like client, and now I am going to pass the name of the deployment space. Now I'm going to pass the name of the deployment space. And what I want to print this. Space ID. If it is validating successfully, then only I'm getting ID, otherwise not. So here you can see we are getting some error. So why we are getting this error? It is not like this function is not working correct. We again need to validate this function. In this function, we are having client dot spaces dot get underscore details. In that we need to pass animal deploy. Then item for item in the space, we have resources. Then if the item entity or the name that is equals to animal underscore deploy, we need to write like metadata and the ID. And then after we are having UID space name client animal underscore deploy. Run this once again. Let me check with UID. How many of you are getting like the correct outcome? How many of you are getting correct outcome? Client dot spaces dot get underscore details function, that is fine. Then we are returning next item for item in space, that is also fine. Resources. if the item entity or the name that is equals to animal underscore deploy. Fine guys, fine. After this bracket we forgot actually, and in last only one bracket. That is the issue actually. Now I'm getting this space ID. How many of you are getting the space ID? Please give the confirmation once. Please give the confirmation once. Actually, we need to close this animal deploy. This basically bracket we need to close here, and this second bracket of return function is closed here. So after that, I hope you all are getting the space ID. Give the confirmation once. Got a space ID. Good. I hope you all get. Give the confirmation once. Got it? Good, guys. After that, we need to check. We need to make the default of that client. So client dot set dot default underscore space. Which space I want to make the default? This space. Which space? This space ID. I want to make it the default. So I need to pass it here. If it is authenticate successfully, then only we will get the success message. Otherwise, we will get an error. So please run this and check whether you are getting success message or not. So here we are getting success message. So which means that our default space ID with this client is validate, and this deployment space is also validated in this case. Now after that, if you want to check like what are the different software specification that is supported by IBM Watson Studio Jupyter Notebook or client basically. So my client, I'm just checking client dot software underscore specifications dot list function to check the number of default the number of specification software specification supported by this client. If I run this, here you can see we are getting the asset ID, the name of that software specification, along with the asset ID and the type of it. So here you can see like TensorFlow 2.1, Python 3.6, runtime 22.1, Python 3.9, CUDA. So currently we are using 3.9 version. Currently we are using Python 3.9 version. Here you can see Python 3.9 version. So this basically fetch only top 50 rows of data, only first 50 rows of data. Now suppose you want to see more data, just give the number here. So I just want to see 200. If I run this, so here you can see we are getting whatever the maximum number present onto this software specification, you will get the list. So here we are using TensorFlow, guys. So we are going to use the same version that is supported by the Python 3.9. So we are going to use the TensorFlow version. So just check it here. Yeah, we are going to use this version. TensorFlow RT. RT is nothing but runtime 22.1 hyphen Python 3.9 version. So this version we are going to use, and just copy it. Here, what I need to do, I need to define the software spec ID. Software space ID. Software space UID I'm just giving here. That is equals to from. If it is present, then only we will get this asset ID, otherwise not. Which means that this asset ID. So this okay. So now what I need to do, software space UID that is equals to client dot software underscore specification, because software specification we are going to use dot. I want to get the UID by the name. In that, I need to pass in single quotes as TensorFlow, runtime 22.1, Python 3.9, and run this. If it is succeed, then only you will get the asset ID. So here we are getting this asset ID, which means that this artifact is present for TensorFlow runtime 22.1, Python 3.9. So I hope you all are getting the same outcome here. Please give the confirmation once. Please give the confirmation once. Please give the confirmation once. Yes, scroll up. I'm just scrolling up. No issue. How many of you understand till now? I hope you all understand. If you're still having any doubt, in last we will take the Q&A. So don't worry about that. Yes, sir. Got the UID. Good. Those who get it, it's good for all. Hope it's good. Now what we need to do is we need to deploy the model. So I'm just writing the model details. But before that, we need to perform one more operation, that is nothing but we need to save the model file, which model we created with the name called animal.h file. We need to be check the list first, ls. Ls is nothing but animal.h5 we have. This animal.h5 is our model. This model we are going to deploy. So this model we need to be save it into tar file. Tar file in the sense like GIF file. Okay. So how we can save it? This is the command for saving the tar file basically. So tar hyphen. This is the command, guys. ZCVF space. Give the model name, model tar file name. So I am giving like animal dot tgz is an extension of tar file. After that, give your model name. So this is my model name. I'm just copy here, paste it. So it creates a tar file for this. After that, if you see ls, so one tar file will be created. So here you can see we are also having this tar file. This tar file store this model, and this model we are going to be deploy on IBM Cloud Platform. In last, I will cover like how to create a deployment space. Don't worry about that. In the final step, I am right now in the final step, so don't worry. So now, after that, we need to be define the model details. So I'm just writing like model details that is equals to client dot repository dot get underscore model underscore id get underscore model id. Oh, sorry, model underscore details client dot repository dot model. We need to store the model first. So store underscore model. In that, we need to be give the model name. So model, where we store the model in animal.tgz. Copy this. In single quotes, paste it, tar file. And then after we need to define the meta properties. So I'm just creating the variable name with like meta props and curly braces. So here you can see this is our model detail. In that we have animal.tar file. Now I'm just defining the meta properties. In this meta properties, what I am going to do, guys, I'm just writing like client dot. Client means from where we are authenticate the user. So repository dot model meta names dot name here, and in that we need to be sorry in that we need to define like the model name. So what is your model meta names basically? So I'm just writing like CNN model. You give any name, CNN model I'm giving here. Give comma, hit enter. Now I'm just writing the type. So current version which is supported by IBM for TensorFlow, that is 2.7. So model meta names type we need to define. So you can copy this from here and paste it. So client.repository.model meta names dot, we need to define the type. So type is equals to, type we need to define as TensorFlow underscore 2.7. So this version of TensorFlow is basically supported by IBM to deploy the model on IBM platform. This is the latest version. If you want to check the version of TensorFlow, what you can do, just simply write import TensorFlow as TF, and then after I want to check the version, so TF dot underscore version to check the version of TensorFlow. So here you can see what is the version. Latest version of TensorFlow is 2.7.2. So we need to write like 2.7 here. After that, client.repository, the same thing I'm copying from here only. Client.repository.model meta names. Now, software spec UID we need to cross check. Software, just write software underscore specification ID, UID basically, unique identity. We need to pass, what we need to pass? We need to pass this space UID. In this Python or in this TensorFlow and Python version, we are going to be deploy the model. So here you need to pass this variable. If everything is fine, your model details will be created. Meta props is again one dictionary. We are getting an error on name. I think name is in capital letter. Yeah. It takes some time because it is going to deploy the model. Now you want to see your model is deployed successfully or not on IBM Cloud Platform. So how you can check? Just write model underscore ID variable I'm creating. I just want client dot repository dot, I want get model ID. I want model ID. Get underscore model underscore ID. In that, I'm just passing this variable. So if this model is deployed successfully, which means stored successfully onto the deployment space, then only we will get the ID, otherwise we will get an error. So I'm just running this and I want to see model ID is assigned for this repository or not. If I run this, so here you can see our model is deployed successfully on the deployment space. So if you want to download that model into your local system or in your IBM space only, so you just need to write like client dot repository dot download function. In that, what you need to do is you need to pass this variable, or instead of that, pass this model ID in single quotes. pass this model ID, and in single quotes, you need to pass this star file. If it is stored it into this deployment this model ID, then only you will be able to download. So right now I will show you firstly ls. I'm just giving any name. Right now it's animal.tgz. You can give any name. I'm just giving like animal CNN and run this. It takes some time to download from the repository that is going to validate with this client, and it will check this model ID. So now here you can see if I run this ls now, from this file, this tar file is now coming on to which folder? This folder. If suppose now I want to use this deployment model onto my local system, what I need to do is I need to just validate those things, and based on that I can download the model. So I hope you guys understand how to deploy the model. Now I will show you. If you go back onto your deployment space, initially 0 bytes. Now here you can see the size is 176 MB. The size of animal underscore deploy is 176 MB. If you want to go to your deployment space, in your deployment space, click on to animal underscore deploy, guys. Go to your asset, and in this asset you can see at 736 we are having one CNN model which use the type of TensorFlow 2.7 and software specification this we use. And if you go on to your manage option, you will get like this model is saved onto this cloud object storage bucket. If you want to download, if you want to give the same model to your friend or anyone in the team, what you need to do is you need to share this API key, because with the help of the client only you will be able to access, otherwise you will get an error. This is how like we can deploy the model on IBM cloud platform. Now if you have any query, please let me know. Firstly, give the confirmation till now you guys understand or not. Till now please give the confirmation once into the chat, into the Q&A option. Which ID you paste in download function? I paste this model ID. Whatever the model ID I am getting from this model details, I stored it into the repository. Then after I want this model ID, so I just write client.repository.get underscore model ID. In that we have model details. In this model details, I want to check model ID is present. This model ID, I give it them. And whatever the name of the tar file I want to give, I can give it. Once I extract this tar file, I am getting this file, animal.h file. And this file I can share, and with the help of that I can integrate with Flask, integrate it with Django, any like Python based web framework I gonna use to create a web application. So till now, fine, no issue. If in your case 98 MB, that is also fine, no issue. Till now it's clear for all or not? Software space UID is showing not found. Please check you given the same TensorFlow ID or not. Dallas region, Dallas region just need to write like https://us-south.ml. You need to write .cloud.ibm. Till now it's clear. Anyone having any doubts? Clear. In deployment space, When I am in the deployment space, you will be in the overview section. Once you deploy it successfully, go to your asset. You will see the model section. In that, I have a CNN model. TensorFlow is basically this version we use. Software specification is TensorFlow runtime 22.1, Python 3.9, and you will also get the information related like last modified. This is my model. This is our model basically, CNN model. And in this model, we have a cloud object storage where our animal.h5 is basically stored it into the tar file that is called animal.tzz. That gonna stored it into this cloud object storage bucket. And the size of this model is 176.75 MB. Hope it's clear for all. We are not going to add any asset. Once you run this particular cell, once you are just adding this cell, model details, client.repository to store the model, automatically it goes on to the asset section. We are not going to add anything manually. Hope it's clear. Now suppose I want to share this model. So like I created this entire pipeline yesterday, correct? These things I did. Now what I need to do is I need to share only the deployment type. What they need to do in the local system, suppose, or from Google Colab itself, they need to install this library. Once they install this library, what they need to do is they need to authenticate from this API key, client API. Then they need to check this function, check this space UID, check this success message. After that, these steps they don't need to follow. Why? Because this is for the deployment space. They directly need to write this, and they will be able to store it into the local system. So 5 cells is enough to anyone to download the model, and they can use for like their web application purpose or any other purposes. Hope it's clear now. Sanchit Jain. Sir, I can't move even one step, sir. Only one step, that is login. After login, only blank page was shown, sir. What can I do? I want to do more efficient work, but I can't approach. No issue. Like you can like try onto the incognito mode. You will be able to access. Used in like incognito mode. Hope you received the Smart Interns ID. With the help of that, create your academic account. And from that academic account, you will be request for the feature code, and then after go on to the IBM cloud. But all the process you can follow onto the incognito mode only, so you will not get those errors. Clear. 10 hours was very limited. What we need to do if we have used all of it? Like yeah, there is a limitation like 10 hours. So you have to wait for a month actually. There is no like option for using like this service only, IBM Watson Studio. For cloud object storage, you can storage up to 25 GB. Sorry, 25. Error coming in API key. Can you show that snapshot again? Snapshot. Okay, just a minute. This is the API key basically, guys. This is an API key. You just need to write. This is a variable only. This is nothing but a variable. It's a dictionary key value pair. Sir, how can we use this model in our website made with Django? So whatever the model you created on IBM Cloud Platform, and you can just download it from local system. Suppose I told you na, like if you want to download it, what you need to do is you need to install the Python like Watson machine learning client into your local system. Then after you need to authenticate the user with this credentials. After that, you need to perform this operation to fetch this deployment space. From that deployment space, what you want to do is you want to download this. Then after directly you can just run this. So on that particular folder where your Jupyter notebook get open. So in that folder, this star file will come. You can extract. You will get animal.h file, and then after you can create your Django application or a Flask application. You can integrate with it, and based on that, you can give the option to the user, such as like choose option to upload the image. In that way, you can create that. How can give this value inside this client.repository? This value is nothing but this value is our model ID. This model detail, I want to fetch this model detail ID. So what I did, client.repository.get model ID. In that I pass this variable, and this variable when I pass, it fetch and authenticate and store this model ID into this. And this simple ID I copied it from here and paste it. We'll be using Watson Studio for constructing solution for our problem statement as well. In that case, like 10 hours is too less. I use spend. Yes, you're gonna use like this platform. You can also use like any open source platform itself. Any open source platform also you can use. Or you can do one thing, like once you create local deployment and all these things, once you are getting better result, then come back onto the IBM platform and upload the file and run that at once. Error free, you can upload it here and run this, and from your IBM deployment only you can integrate with the Flask or Django, or whatever like a framework you want to use. What about others? What about others? Yes, please. Hope it's clear for all. Model client dot model meta props name type client dot repository model meta names dot software spec UID. This is showing error. API request failure. You need to request. You need to check your API key once. Who is this? Anushka, please check your API key. Can we code in VS Code and then upload on cloud? Yes, you can use like Jupyter Notebook, Google Colab, VS Code, IBM Watson Studio, any tool you can use. You have to wait for a month actually. H5 is nothing but an extension of deep learning models. Any more queries? What is CUH? CUH is like capacity unit per hour, something like that. In wallet you are getting, like in Flipkart you are getting some super coins, and in like some coupons you are getting, that has some limit and some expiry date itself. If you gonna consume, after that you will not be able to consume once again. So that is nothing but a CUH. It's a limit to use that service. If you use 2 virtual CPU with 8 GB RAM, in that case it consume 1 CUH for 1 hour. So right now, suppose if I'm not using it, I just need to check. Like how can I check? Simply click on hamburger menu, guys. Then after click on to the services, sorry, this administration option. Then click onto the environment runtime. When I click on environment runtime, I will get the information related with how many CUH I consume from yesterday. I need to check once. You can use any like ID. There is no limitation for any ID. So here you can see 5.9 CUH I consumed and 4.1 CUH is left over. Because today like 1.6 CUH we consume at when we deploy this model actually right now. Yes. Will this CH be required? Please to roll up. How can we run directly? How can we run directly? Varun, I didn't get you. Can you please elaborate more? Yes. Can we run this on browser without front end? Can we run this on? Yeah, just like if you can use like Google Colab, that is also a web browser based platform. So you can use it without front end. Like how like you are going to be upload the image. Either you have that option which I already showcased you. Like manually you need to be testing, give the entire path of that image and test with the model. So do I need to create new account to code, or if I rain out the CUH? No, because in like personal account, you will not get like you will be not be able to create an account. It will ask for the credit card details. So I'm requesting that no need to go there. Automatically the project got saved. You don't need to save it. You don't need to add a credit card. Why you want to add credit card? Just register from IBM skill build platform. Go to there and you will get feature code and you will be get the access of 124 days, 123 days from now. Like free trial. Why you will like add your credit card? No need to add any credit card and all. Sir, so the code from model details. I will share this file, so don't worry about that, guys. I will share this file. I'm just downloading right now. Give me a minute. I'm just added this name first. I will share this file, so don't worry. If you want to add it, go here, animal CNN, deployment, deploy. IBM at C. It's day number 3. Day 3, IBM at C. Animal CNN deploy. Okay. So name got changed. Go to file. I will be downloaded into notebook form. So I will share this file, so don't worry about that. I will share in the hack challenge group. Any more question, guys? Any more question? Hope it's clear. Like day 1, day 2, and day 3, all the days like content you clear with it or not? IBM skill platform is showing under maintenance how to complete the course. Like if it is showing this message, can you please share that onto the group once? Yeah, I already shared that notebook into the previous class notebook into the Telegram group already. Please check once. Hope it's clear for all till now. If you have anything, please let me know. If you have any doubts, like in the session also you can ask, and you can like ask your queries into the Telegram group. Day 2 code already shared into the Telegram group. Please check. How to open IBM Cognos on when like we are having like IBM Cognos class, we will let you know like how to launch IBM Cognos Analytics. Don't worry. Yes, we will reshare the file, so don't worry about that. Any like any query related with like day 1, day 2, and day 3 content. These things we will share, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Let me know like day 1, day 2, day 3 query. If you have any content related queries, please let me know. Any queries related with content. Where can we get a quiz option? Quiz option, you need to be like go to the agenda. In that already we have mentioned that deep learning essential cloud. Click on that link, log into the cognitive.ai platform, and then after complete that course, which means that whatever the topic you already know, you already listened in last 2 days. So in that, what you need to do is any more question? Can I use any other ID? Yes, you can use any other ID itself. No issue. Any more question? It is asking for credit card data even after college ID. I request you, you have an option called register with code. Please click on register with code and paste your teacher code. Already told like how to give model with others. Like you just need to be like install the library and share your API key. They can download it. Hidden layer in CNN. Please explain how does it work. It is basically a dense layer. Multiple hidden layers we are going to be add just because of like our data in general. Like basically like in neural network we have like multiple layers. One is like input layer, and second one is like hidden layer, third one is basically we have output layer. So it is very important that whatever the data means like your input goes onto the input layer, and after that it goes on to the hidden layer. So it goes with the beats. Why hidden layer is important? Because with the help of hidden layers, the images, whatever the images, suppose we are dealing with CNN like animal species classification only. So in that like hidden layer is basically in between input and the output layer, and the main reason behind it to generate the output, and with the help of that like we are getting like the random weights that is associated with their input, and it is used to fine tune the result. So that is why we are adding like hidden layers in this case. Any more question? Apart from that, I have on deep learning based from cognitive. Is it countable? Yes, yes. Deep learning based, deep learning essential, correct? Sehbaz. Do we have to complete the courses from the agenda PDF or the ones given on Smart Interns platform? If it is already in the Smart Interns platform, I request you all to complete those badges from there. No, deployment will not take any charges. No charges for deployment. Like 10 till 10 CUH, it's free basically. No, it's not for that. Do we always use ReLU as activation function when we have multiple classes? No, ReLU activation function is basically used with convolution layer just because to convert the negative uh, pixel values into the positive. And it's depend on which type of classes we are going to deal. If there is a binary kind of classes, then in that case we're gonna use like sigmoid. If we have like a multi-class classification such as like animal species, so we use software expansion in that. Okay, sir, got it. Where we will find all the badges that we need to complete. You can just get all the badges into the platform only. Any more question? Can we directly log out from Watson Studio and deployment phase? It will not cut the CUH. There is two options. Either you can delete it to stop the entire file. Just download and whenever you are going to use, just upload that file, create that asset. Otherwise, like close it directly. No issue. You need to follow the video which is already present in your like Smart Interns platform. From there, you can do that. Any more question? I hope it's clear for all of you. Deadline for completing all the wages, cloud access code. Like cloud access code, you need to watch the video, log in into the skill build platform from where you can get the access of. You need to request for the feature code basically. So I hope you really enjoyed the session from last 3 days. Please give the confirmation once into the chat. I hope you all like. Yes, sir. I hope it's clear for all from day one to like day three till now. It's clear. Okay, good. I hope you guys really enjoyed the session. So thank you very much. If you don't have any queries, technical queries, we will going to bind up the session. If you have any queries, please let us know. I hope you really enjoyed the session. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Okay. Very enjoy. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much for your feedbacks, guys. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you really enjoyed the session, guys. And thank you very much. Any more queries? Any more technical queries, guys? Okay, then. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. You have to be log in into IBM skill build platform, and from where you can get access for the feature code. In deployment page in assets, where see our deployment, there is an option deploy near delete. What's the use of it? Delete is basically used to delete the deployment space, basically. If you don't want to use in future, like suppose you create another model that is different, and that deployment space you don't want to use, so you can delete it, because it consumes the cloud object storage itself, and also it uses your Watson machine learning CUH if you are going to use it, so you can just leave it. IBM academic website, please visit, and based on that you can do it. Any more question, guys? Thank you very much for all who joined the session. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm sharing the file with you guys, the IPYNV file. So thank you very much for all for joining the session. You all will receive the file. I'm also sharing this PDF file with you, so that will be helpful for you guys. If you have any queries, please post your queries into the Telegram group. So thank you very much. And if you don't have any query, we are going to be wind up the session. So thanks a lot. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your feedback itself. Yeah, recorded session will be shared into your email ID, so don't worry about that. Please check your email on daily basis. You will receive the recordings itself. Thank you all. Now we are going to wind up the session. Thank you very much.